Well, good morning, everybody. This is Pastor Eugene Curry coming to you live from Calvary Community Church. Actually in the building. Hope you guys are having a great morning. Hope you're relaxed and took your time getting up. Maybe you're in your PJs. Maybe not. Maybe you made the effort and you're all dressed up for church. Even better. But whether you are dressed up, whether you are relaxing in your pajamas, whether you are there by yourself or you've got a huge bunch of kids swarming all over you, I want to wish you a happy Sunday morning and welcome you to Calvary Community Church's Sunday morning experience here online. I'd like to start off by also wishing you a happy Memorial Day. We've got, a wonderful legacy in our country of service, military service, and some of our servicemen and women have given their very lives in the defense of our country and the pursuit of its interests, and there is something noble about that, and so I want to acknowledge that this morning. Our country would not be what it is today. Our country would not be a country if it were not for those men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice on behalf of us, our freedom, our well-being, our prosperity, and our security. So, with a weighty sense of our obligation to past generations. Happy Memorial Day here before too long. With that said, how is everyone doing today? What's going on in all your lives? I am trying out a new microphone setup here, so that should be working out a little better than in the past. It's still not quite as crisp and clear as I'd like it to be, but it's better than what we've had in the past for a little while now. So it's an improvement, I'm hoping. If not, let me know, and next week we'll go back to something else. Anyway, how are you folks doing? I'm going to grab my phone here, and I'm going to take a look at your comments as they roll in to see how you guys are doing and what you guys are up to today. And while I grab my phone, I will likewise grab my donut here. Hopefully you've got yourself something delicious for breakfast. And I will just sort of take a look and see what you guys have to say. Let me swap hands because I'm right-handed. I want to say hello to, I'll run down the names here. We've got Lynette Jackson and Alan Headley and Sherry Headley, Sandy and Denise and Mark Obtenario and Betty and Celeste and Kathy and Aaron and Peggy and Mary Jean and let's see, who else do we got here? Karen and Steve and Virginia and Corky and Verla, and Ron and Dorothy and Amanda and Lacelyn and Heidi. Let's see, Mark, and I don't know if I said Amanda yet or not, but I'll say it again. And on and on. Good to have you with us this morning. So I'm told that the sound is working out better than it has in the past, which is great. I'm glad for that. We are using, as a church, a more advanced setup here. I don't know if I want to move the camera for fear that it will never go quite back to where it was. But you know what? Let's take the risk. Let's charge ahead here. Hold on, people. I'm gonna do the irresponsible. Removing the camera from its moorings. So we've got the soundboard, the wireless mic, we've got our camera set up, the computer back here. It's quite the ordeal, but if it's working out, well, then that's fantastic. So this is like our little studio right here as a church. This time, the game show studio was somewhere else. The worship studio is somewhere else. We, as a congregation, there are times I feel more like a video producer than I do like a pastor. But, this current situation won't last forever, and I am grateful for that. All right, so let's see what's going on in your lives down here. Good to see you, Gail, and Jeanne, and Joel, and Veronica, and Marilyn, and Penny. And I should always say, I'm also implicitly wishing a happy Sunday to everyone who's watching on someone else's device. So if you're all there gathered around the television and you're logging in on Joel's Facebook account, but you're not Joel, you're some Nigerian scammer, happy Sunday to you too, Nigerian scammer. Or if you happen to be a wife or a husband or kids or something like that, happy Sunday to you too as well. Watch out, Joel. There's people taking advantage of you left and right. All right. Let's see. Marilyn and Christy and Dawn and the Borlands and all the rest. Happy Sunday to you. So I am kind of curious. Every time that I come out here and I've got my donut, I kind of wonder, are people at home kind of going along and are they eating their own food as well? Are you guys? Are you having breakfast, or are you guys really responsible and you've eaten like 3 hours ago because you've been up for a long time already? I'm also kind of relieved. I can see my little volume bars here jumping away. I was concerned that as I ate my food, you'd have to hear like the swallowing, munching, horrible sounds. But at least on the surface, it looks like that's not the case. So it looks like it's working out pretty well. So I see that Jeanne's got English muffins going on there at the house. Karen's got waffles. That's great. Patty's drinking her coffee. Very nice, Patty. Very nice. So my wife expressed an interest in having us go and take a trip before too long. You know, we're moving into phase 2 as a county, which is exciting. Things are starting to open up. When I heard that we were moving into phase 2, that it had been approved yesterday, I swiftly called down a list of maybe 5 or 6 restaurants in town to see if any one of those was going to be throwing their doors open that very day. It looked like none of them were. Kind of disappointing. But my wife and I are now talking about maybe taking a really small trip for a day or two or something like that. And we're looking for recommendations. If you guys have a spot in Oregon specifically, because that's a little bit more open now, and we live really close to Oregon, so we can drive locally in our own county and then hop into Oregon and maybe zip somewhere else. Any recommendations? One of the possibilities we were considering was Newport, Oregon. The only challenge there is the things I really like to see in Newport, the big aquarium. The big aquarium is shut down for the rest of the month, which is only about another week, but still, I'd like to be confident that it'll be open when we go down there. So if anybody has any recommendations for like 1 or 2 day getaways, let me know, and my wife and I can argue about it later on today. Let's see what else you guys have got going on here. Peggy's got her hotel breakfast. Peggy, where are you hanging out right now? If you're having a hotel breakfast, are you at a hotel, or are you just sort of reproducing that experience there at home? All right. Glad to know that the audio is not breaking up. That's good. I also see that our stream is working out pretty well. We're not having problems with freezing and stuff like that. So it's always nice when we've got these little technical problems to finally get them fixed. There's always a new one that pops up, but so long as we can knock them down as soon as they pop up so they don't start growing in number, I'm willing to play whack-a-mole. I mean, that'll work, at least for the duration. Let's see, what else do we got going on here? Karen is asking, are banter buddies a thing of the past? No, banter buddies are not a thing of the past. Banter buddies are a thing of weeks when I have my stuff together enough to ask somebody to show up. So I will preemptively ask you now, if you would like to be a banter buddy and you are not in, let's say, a high-risk category, I don't want to have somebody coming in here that's got asthma and immune suppression medication and 85, so that I have to be terrified that if they get sneezed on by a sparrow, that's the end of them. I'd feel terrible if that happened. So if you're in reasonably good shape and you feel reasonably comfortable being in a room with one other person that's not in your household, let me know, and we can set up a time for you to be the banter buddy. Looking out for your well-being, looking out for your safety. Don't want to get anybody sick. But if you feel reasonably comfortable, if you are in pretty good health, if you're pretty spry, then I would love to have you be my banter buddy, whoever you happen to be. So Karen Krieger, this might be a chance for you to live into your dream. If you've always wanted to be a banter buddy, this could be your time to shine. If you've got somebody else in mind that you think would be a great banter buddy, let them know. They can call me up on my cell phone or send an email to the church, and we can get them hooked up on a Sunday. Maybe not this coming Sunday, but the next one or something like that. It'll be great. All right. When you get older, you wake up with the birds. See Ecclesiastes. All right. So the Hensleys, Christy is rubbing it in my face that they're both healthy and early risers with the oatmeal at 6:30 in the morning. All right, what else do we got going on here? Denise says they like Cannon Beach. Cannon Beach is fun, but we've been to Cannon Beach, and so since we're not locals, my wife and I thought it wouldn't be kind of nice to go somewhere we haven't been before. And one of the challenges we face is just like in our state in Oregon, individual counties are allowed to open up if they meet certain requirements. And so I called over to Astoria, and they said, no, we're not allowed to be open just yet. You have to have like essential business to be at the hotel. All right, fine, I guess we can't do that. But they did recommend Newport as an option. So I don't know if Cannon Beach is open yet or not. I have to check with them. What else? Sun River, all right. The Inn at Otter Crest, Depot Bay and whale watching. All right, sounds good. Do sparrows sneeze? Amanda asks. You know, I'm not an ornithologist. I can't tell you with confidence whether or not sparrows sneeze, but I know that my dogs sneeze. So, I mean, if people sneeze and dogs sneeze, and in Jurassic Park, that dinosaur sneezed on that kid and just blew snot all over her, and that's an authoritative source, right? No. But I mean, if people sneeze and dogs sneeze, and I think I've seen cats sneeze, probably birds sneeze, don't they? I'm going to have to go and look that up now. When I get home, I'm going to be just watching hours of YouTube videos of birds sneezing or not, as people just drop a little bit of pepper on their beaks to see if they sneeze. I'll have to find that out. All right. What do we got here? Betty Van Riper says, what is it? What is what? I'm eager to answer your question. You've asked it twice, Betty. What is it? What is it? With a bunch of question marks. What's the question that I'm being asked about? I don't understand what is what. Let's see. What else do we got here? Lake Ozette. Hike into the ocean. That sounds interesting. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, Aaron says cats do sneeze. Good assumption that all creatures sneeze. I mean, it just seems likely. I mean, I don't know if fish sneeze. I doubt that. But I mean, birds are out there. They get dust in their noses. I'm guessing they've been equipped by the Creator with the ability to sneeze out that dust or something. Maybe not. Oh, Banter Buddy. Yeah. So it's not that Banter Buddies are canceled. We don't have one lined up for this morning. We may have one for the post-service social. I'll have to just rig up more of this equipment here because I've disassembled some of it. It's just a matter of putting it back together and getting another mic ready to go. Let's see. What else do we got? So Eric Johnson is coming to the rescue here, and he said that he just asked Siri, and Siri says that yes, birds do sneeze. Look at us living in the information age. As I tell my wife, there's no reason to be ignorant about anything anymore for any more than 10 seconds. So Eric Johnson, thank you so much for coming to the rescue here. Birds do sneeze, apparently. You'll have to be on the lookout for it now. Just like every time you go to the zoo and you see a bunch of flamingos, you're at the beach and there's a bunch of seagulls, just see if any one of them is very quietly sneezing. It'd be kind of a fun thing to see, I guess. All right. What else do we got going on? I'll let you guys know a little bit about what's coming up. So, not this week and not next week, but the week after, the first Sunday of June, we're going to be having a drive-in service here at the church. So what that means is, if you are so inclined, you are invited to jump in your car and drive down here to be in the parking lot, in your car, safe and secure, but still physically present. so that we can together worship as a congregation. We're going to have the worship team outside. I'll be preaching outside. We're going to have it all rigged up so it's a full service outdoors. I've got a platform or an elevated platform lined up so that the people will be a little higher up, a little easier to see. We're going to have some helpers here at the church. I'm going to lean on the deacons to have them kind of mill around and direct people some. And we will have, a kind of a tiered system where we're going to have gigantic trucks and SUVs in the back, and we'll have the itty-bitty cutesy cars in the front and the regular-sized cars in the middle, so it'll be a little easier to see. If it's raining, we'll have tents up. If it's not, we won't need them, but we're going to make it work. So the first Sunday of June will be a drive-in service. And I know what you're asking yourself, but what if I don't want to go to the drive-in service? What if, I need to stay close to home for whatever reason? Well, don't worry, we've got you covered. We will continue to live stream the service. So if you are able to come, fantastic. We'd love to have you here. If you're unable to come and you want to stay home instead, you can do that too. You will not be left out. We will have the service live stream. There may be a few little hiccups with the live stream. We've had that issue in the past, so there's no guarantees there. You'll have a better chance of getting an uninterrupted experience if you are here. Reality rarely hiccups, but the internet sometimes does. But one way or another, we will try to accommodate you. So that's not this Sunday, it's not next Sunday, but it is June 6th or 7th, whichever the first Sunday of June is. We will have the drive-in service. And this is one more example of us here at Calvary kind of reaching out our little, I got to get my foot up here, kind of reaching out our foot, kind of gingerly place it on what the future holds to see if we can ease into the easing of restrictions that are placed upon Cowlitz County. So we're currently at phase 2. Within about a month or so will be phase 3, and then a month after that will be phase 4. And it'd be really exciting just to throw the doors open and have everybody come on down to the church. But at the same time, I and the rest of the leadership here, and no doubt everyone watching at home, wants to be careful and thoughtful about this. We don't want to rush into something where, in 3 weeks we feel terrible because we were reckless and somebody got sick. Excuse me. We want to, do our part, do our due diligence to ensure the well-being of the congregation as much as we possibly can. And so part of that's going to be observing the law and making sure that we follow it. Part of that is going to be using our own common sense. Part of that's going to be kind of balancing competing interests. It's going to be exciting to be back in the building. It'll be a lot of fun. At the same time, what are we going to do about childcare? What are we going to do about kids' church? We can't reasonably expect a bunch of 4-year-olds to maintain social distance. They're just not good at that kind of thing. They're not real good at self-control. And so they're probably going to be bouncing off the walls, and we're going to have to be really careful about how we're going to do that. Are we going to, have, kids' church outdoors? Are we going to have to wait on kids' church for a little while? Those kinds of issues are things that need to be worked out, and I'll be working with some of our leaders here to work out those issues in the coming week to get some kind of a plan, and then it'll be kind of moved along the chain here, getting buy-in and input from various groups. Anyway, so all that simply to say that as a church, Calvary is eager, I'm sure, to get back to normal, but we're not going to rush into anything recklessly. We're going to try to be thoughtful. We're going to try to be cautious, while at the same time not giving into a spirit of fear. We are moving forward here. We know our goal. We know our destination. And it's simply a matter of how we get from here to there in a way which is most responsible and most conducive to a worship experience that is focused on the Lord and not overly focused on the nitty-gritty of rules and regulations. So it's a balancing act, but I think that we'll be able to balance fairly well. So I'm going to take another quick look here and see what you guys have been saying in the comments. All right. Looks like people are popping in saying hello. I'm glad that people are with you. So Sandra asked, what about porta potties? So that's one of the things that we can talk about, and I will be talking about with the leadership in this coming week. One of the things I'm not so sure about, though, is, I mean, if our restrooms can hold on to germs, can't porta potties? What's the advantage of having porta potties rather than just using the church's own bathrooms, which are a lot nicer? And actually, by the way, they are even nicer now than they were in the past, because over these last several weeks, we've had fewer people in the building. There's been less need to clean. And Aaron Elliott, our church's custodian, has been hard at work doing some projects that he hasn't been able to get to for a while. So all the floors are waxed and look really nice. And a couple of the bathrooms have been repainted so far, and the rest are on the agenda. They look really great. It's a little more contemporary look, matches the paint in the garden room. So when you guys do come back, the restrooms will be a delight. But is there an advantage to having porta potties over our interior bathrooms? That's a great question. I will call up the Washington State Health Department and ask them what their input is on that, because that is something that I've considered and I'm not entirely sure what's up. Let's see. What else do we got here? Good to see a Haley and Kirsten Amrine and the Brownlees and the Courtneys and all the rest. Laura Lee May says that I would imagine that handshakes and hugs are a thing of the past. Well, let's say this. They're a thing of the past and a thing of the future. They're just not a thing of the immediate present. There will come a time when we will have people shaking hands and giving hugs again here at Calvary. But you're right. When we get back together for the first time, the second time, probably even like the fifth or sixth or seventh time, we're not going to have a whole lot of handshakes and hugs. Do want to keep you guys safe. So there'll be lots of thumbs up. There'll be lots of finger guns. There'll be lots of, pointing and elbow tapping maybe, but probably not a lot of handshakes and hugs, at least not right away. But we will get there again. We will get back to where we have been in the past. All right. Let's see now. We are almost at time. I do want to let you guys know that this is going to be the first Sunday that our countdown to the worship service features music from our own worship team here at Calvary Community Church. It's a fun little improvement over past weeks where I've used stock songs that I've grabbed off the internet. But this will be the first time we've got songs from the church's own worship team. And anyway, with all that said, if anybody else has got something that they want to share here at the end, feel free to jump into those comments. This is your chance. Let us know what's going on. But in about 1 minute, we're going to power this down, and I will see you on the other side of the service for the post-service social immediately afterwards. Feel free to log back in, and I'll wish you all well and a happy Sunday. Anyway, with that said, thank you so much for tuning in to the pre-service social, and I'll see you in just a bit.